Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I thought I'll do a review of the two Alhambra necklaces that I have from Van Cleef. So if you're interested, do keep on watching. So I have had these two necklaces for a while now, so hopefully I can give you a better review on them. So I'm just going to come a little bit closer so that you can see a little bit better. So I have the Sweet Alhambra in Carnelian as well as the Vintage Alhambra in like a grey mother of pearl. It has this rainbow shift to it which is really pretty. I'm not sure if it's catching on camera. Just a background story of how I got these two. So I actually got the Carnelian one sometime in August of 2020. It was a really long time now. It was on a complete whim. I remember it was National Day and I decided to go have brunch with a friend. She's a really long time friend of mine, and somehow somewhere we just happened to stroll into Van Cleef just for fun. So back in 2020, I remember I wasn't like crazy on like bags or shoes at all. I believe this is the very first piece of fine jewellery I've ever owned. I remember walking into the other day because I wanted to check out the Rose Devane necklace because I was so obsessed with it. I can't remember which YouTuber I was watching and she had like the Rose Devane necklace. I believe it was Fleur. She had like the black Rose Devane necklace and it was so pretty, so I was really wanted to check it out. And then thereafter we actually walked into VCA and we were just looking around and we kind of like spotted the Carnelian like Sweet Alhambra necklace. It was very pretty. So I believe back in 2020, I think that was the time where I decided that I prefer yellow gold instead of rose gold. So I was kind of like veering away from like rose gold, but they only had the Carnelian in like the rose gold and we kind of like stepped in. It was really like a whim. I'm pretty sure it was her very first piece of like fine jewelry as well. I don't really know what came of us, and I think she was also kind of like eyeing it for a little while. I remember at that point of time I was quite keen on the white mother of pearl, but somehow when I tried it on my skin, it just doesn't pop and like create as much of an effect as the Carnelian one does. Maybe it's because I'm wearing like a black, so it's not really standing out. I might change into a white top so that you can see it a little bit better on my skin tone, but I kind of prefer the Carnelian one sitting on my neck, so that's why we kind of like went with that. And it's so pretty, and to date I feel like it's one of my best pieces of like fine jewelry. And I remember that night I went to have dinner with my grandma, who is unfortunately not around anymore, and I remember excitedly showing her the necklace because the two of us, like me and my friend, actually wore the necklace out of the store. We just like kept it on our necks because we were like so in love with it. So I've had this for about 3.5 years now, and I must say that it's holding up really well. As for the Vintage Alhambra necklace, I actually purchased it on Mother's Day in 2022. I remember placing my order, but somehow I kind of like went in another day to pick it up, so I'm not sure about why, or I can't recall why, but I was with my mom that day and we actually went into store on Mother's Day to pick up this necklace, and they were actually doing like a Mother's Day setup. So my mom had the opportunity to make her own flower bouquet, which is really nice. It was like a nice memory for me as well. So I went in to pick up this necklace, and I've been wanting to add like a Vintage Alhambra necklace like ever since I got this one, because I wear this one all the freaking time. Like it kind of like never really like leaves my neck. But to be fair, I've never ever showered with my necklaces. Like I always make it a point to take it out because the water is not really very great for the stone. It's probably not as delicate as the malachite one. I'm not that big a fan of green, which is why I never really got into the whole malachite thing, but I really like the Carnelian one, and I also really like the grey mother of pearl, specifically the grey mother of pearl, because I feel like the white mother of pearl just doesn't really look nice on my skin tone for some reason. So for these two necklaces, they actually are in rose gold hardware. Other than the white mother of pearl, I'm not entirely sure what other stones come with the yellow gold hardware, so you may need to refer to the website for more information right now. But yeah, I have both of these in like rose gold, and I think they just pair really nicely together. Somehow for VCA rose gold, I feel like they're not really that pink, so I feel like it's okay, and like because it's carnelian, it's slightly like maroony, so I feel like it's fine as well. I've kind of like gotten used to it actually. In all honesty, this is the first time I'm actually pairing these two necklaces together. I never ever wear them together. I always like kind of like wear one or the other. I really apologize for all the drilling noises if you can hear them. I'm not entirely sure why my house has so much drilling going on at the moment. It's really annoying. So these two necklaces also have two settings. They have a longer setting as well as a shorter setting. So the vintage mother of pearl one, I have it in the longest setting, so you can see that it sits really down on my neck. And then the carnelian one, I have it on the shorter setting. But usually I wear both of these necklaces on its long setting simply because I don't really wear them together. I wear one or the other because I feel like wearing two of them is like a little bit much and I don't really enjoy the look of it, so I either wear one or the other. But I guess if you have two VCA necklaces, you definitely can pair them like that. I would personally wear the vintage one on the longer setting and then the sweet one on the shorter setting, so that it has a little bit more space and it doesn't look too clumped up together, and it doesn't hit each other as well, so that it doesn't scratch on each other. So that is personally what I would do. So as you can see, there are two different settings on this necklace. There is one on the lobster clasp over here and another hole at the bottom. So if you want it slightly longer, you could adjust accordingly. So that is really great. And I must say that these are one of like my most used like fine jewelry in my collection. So this is what the sweet carnelian necklace looks like up close. I would say that the stone still looks pretty good. So on the day that we actually went to purchase this, they actually took out a row of carnelian necklaces. I'm pretty sure on the day that we went in, there were 4 to choose from. So you definitely want to take a look at each of the stones because they're slightly different. I kind of remember that mine was a little bit more maroon and there were some like stones that were slightly more orangey. So I would say that for the VCA necklaces, you definitely want to go into store to pick them up yourself because the stones all look different. They do not look the same. So that's what it is. And then in terms of like wear and tear, because I have the clasp on this side and I always use the lobster claw on the right side because I like to use my right hand to kind of like clip this in. So this side always faces the outside. But I would say that for the inner side, you can see a lot more wear and tear because that's what actually touches your skin. So if you look really closely, there are like dust or like, you know, like specks of like oil stains on it. So what I personally do if I really want to like, you know, make it a little bit shinier is to use like a cotton bud to like slowly and very lightly like swipe through the corners because that's where all your dust and dirt kind of like gather. And because I wear this on bare skin in like or humid climate, so you get a lot of like oil and sweat like gathering up on the corners, which is something that you have to bear in mind because if you don't like seeing that, then you have to wear this on like a t-shirt all the time. It can't really touch your bare skin, but I would say that that's not really very realistic. So if you want to wear it on your bare skin, then it's bound to have some form of like dust and dirt gathering, especially on the side that is like touching your skin. So personally, I would always try to wear the necklace on one side and it doesn't change. So you just think of which side you prefer your lobster clasp to be on, and that should be the way to go, and you never ever like change the setting of it. And I'm not sure if you can see on the chain that there are like some thread pulling along the clasp itself because of like my shirt or something. So it actually has stuck onto the chain itself, and I kind of like need to bring it into store to kind of like take the thread out. I can slowly pick at it, but it's like a bit annoying. So if you're wearing things like wool or wearing things like fibrous, then it may catch onto the clasp itself. There's some threading pull at this side and then some on this side as well. So that's just something to bear in mind if you're wearing something like fibrousy or like, you know, like this kind of wool material, it may pull on your fabric a little bit. So I have brought this into store like one time to actually get it cleaned. I was a little bit shocked at like how much grime was like accumulating on the bag, and I was actually slightly worried. So you can actually get it cleaned on the spot in store, but I would say that despite having it cleaned, I could still see some specks. So it's not going to be absolutely perfect after the cleaning, but I'm pretty sure that the grime and dirt is bound to happen, especially if you live in like such a humid climate like ours. So that's the Sweet Alhambra necklace. As for the vintage Alhambra necklace, I really like this one because it's in grey mother of pearl. If you have not seen grey mother of pearl, it's so pretty. There's like a rainbow shift like running through it, and I really like it. So this is the grey one. I feel like the white one just doesn't reflect the rainbow as much. So similarly, I was very particular about the rainbow showing on this necklace itself. So I think that's why I was waiting for a piece to be released or something like that, so that I can come in and like pick the most perfect one, because some of the stones just don't reflect the rainbow and it's a little bit dull. So that's why I say it's better to pick it out yourself. I just want to show you the back of this necklace because it's quite significant in terms of like how the wear and tear is like. So as you can see, this is the front of the necklace where the rainbow really shows up, but if I turn it to the back, you can see like how dull it has gotten because there is like grime and dirt stuck on it. I'm not sure if you can see at the corners of the clover itself. There's definitely like grime and like along the whole entire pendant that makes it really dull. So it's just something to note. I will bring this eventually in for like cleaning, but because there is a larger surface area on this vintage Alhambra, it tends to like catch dirt even more for some reason, and I make it a point to never ever turn this around when I'm wearing it. So far the chain has not caught onto anything. I feel like it's because this chain is slightly larger than the Sweet Alhambra one. As you can see if I put them side by side. So you can kind of see the difference between the two chains. The one on the left is the vintage Alhambra one, and then the one on the right, it belongs to the Sweet Alhambra. So because the Sweet Alhambra chain is like slightly finer, so it's easier to like catch onto things, I feel. So that's why the vintage one doesn't have any like catchings on it, even though I wear kind of like the same kind of clothing while wearing these two necklaces. For those of you who are new here, my name is Amelia and I do videos on luxury and lifestyle. So if you enjoy this kind of videos, do consider subscribing, click on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos. I think in terms of like cost per wear, I've really gotten a lot of wear out of these two necklaces. I would say that I wear the Carnelian one a lot more, simply because it's slightly smaller and more inconspicuous. So that's what I really enjoy about it as well, and just really like that it's like a nice touch on my neck. And I feel like there's a lot of memories attached to this necklace simply because I wore it the first time around when my grandma is still around. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of her as well. It's like having a piece of her on me somewhat. So I really enjoy that memory of her on this necklace. So this is a really special one for me. This one I don't wear quite so much, but I really like it when I'm wearing like certain like sweaters, like this Toteme sweater. I feel like it just goes really nicely, and yeah, just really like the look of it as well. I tend to admire this necklace a lot more because of the rainbow shift, and I just really adore the coloration of it. If you have not seen like a grey mother of pearl, you really need to see in store because it's so pretty and I love it so much. And definitely pick the one that shows the rainbow a lot more if you're into it. So I've kind of changed into like a white top, and this is like the exact same top that I wore when I went to buy my Carnelian Sweet Alhambra necklace, and I just think that it goes so well with my skin tone and like the white top, etc. So I really like the look of it, and I'm just going to wear the vintage one so that you can see as well. So this is what the vintage and the sweet Alhambra looks like on my neck. So this is the setting as well, and as you can see, this is really pretty, and I think that this is just a really good length on my neck as well, so I really like that about it. As you can see, I don't really like wearing them together. I kind of feel like it steals the attention away from each other, so I wear either one of them, and that's about it. I don't tend to wear them together, but I suppose you could if you really wanted to, so that's an option as well. In all honesty, I bought the vintage Alhambra because I wanted to somewhat pair it with the sweet Alhambra as well, so I definitely had that in mind because I wore the Carnelian one into store to kind of see how they pair together. So I think that actually they pair quite nicely together, just that I don't tend to wear them together somehow. I'm just going to leave both of them on for you for this video. So I think that this necklace is actually a really good way to enter into the VCA fine jewelry realm. I think that this is actually a really good entry level for like fine jewelry from Van Cleef especially. A lot of people actually get the Van Cleef bracelet as well, the 5 motif bracelet, but I feel like the 5 motif bracelet is more expensive than this because this is only just 1 stone, so the bracelet is actually really expensive as well. I was actually this close to getting like the 5 motif grey mother of pearl and diamond bracelet when I was in Osaka last year, but I controlled myself and didn't cave in even though they had one in stock, simply because it was really expensive and I'd rather put that money towards getting a bag instead of like a bracelet, because I know that for my lifestyle I wouldn't tend to wear that bracelet very often. So personally, I feel like I will get a lot more wear out of a Van Cleef necklace as compared to like a bracelet, because I feel like the bracelet is a little bit more not so everyday. It's definitely meant for like special occasions, unless you are someone that doesn't really like go out and work or like doesn't do a lot of household chores, because I feel like it will definitely knock onto something when you just leave it on your wrist all the time. So my purpose for that bracelet was more of like a occasional piece, but I just think that it was a lot of money for an occasional piece as well, which is why I really kind of like resisted on it. But it was really with much reluctance, because the thing is, for like Van Cleef bracelets and like necklaces or pendants even, especially the earrings as well, somehow the stock is just very limited for some reason. So if you ever see in store and it's available, then I would say try and grab it, especially the bracelets as well as the earrings. Some of the earrings are always out of stock for some reason. The 2 motif earrings and the 3 motif ones, they are always out of stock. I was thinking about getting it in Japan simply because I think if you get fine jewelry in Japan, you save a lot more money as compared to buying it here in Singapore. First of all, I think their tax is really good. They have like 10% off taxes, and the pricing wise is also like more comparable to here, so you really do save about 30% if you were to purchase fine jewelry in Japan. And some of the yen is like so weak right now, so I think that if you are thinking about getting fine jewelry overseas, I would say do it, because you're definitely going to get a really good discount if you purchase it overseas in Japan. Either that or you can get it in Europe, but I haven't really like purchased fine jewelry in Europe to tell you as much, because usually in Europe I'm more focused on like bags and like ready to wear, because they are definitely way cheaper over there, especially if you're going for the French brands as well. So that's why I don't really buy fine jewelry in Europe. So in terms of what I like about the Van Cleef necklace, I really love the fact that it's really dainty and like sweet, especially the sweet Alhambra one. And I feel like it's a very good everyday piece. If you go for the sweet Alhambra one, it's definitely not in your face as much. But personally, I don't think that the vintage one is that big as well. I really think that it's quite a nice size. I think the magic one will be a little bit too big for my liking, so I really like this too. So Van Cleef also does like holiday pendants, and the holiday pendants tend to have like a diamond in the middle, so you can go for those as well. I remember last year they had a really nice holiday pendant. It was like a slate gray. I can't remember what the grey is called, like obsidian grey I think, and they have like a diamond in the middle and it's so pretty, but it's too similar to the grey mother of pearl one, which is why I didn't end up going for it or even asking my SA about it. Most of the holiday pendants tend to be in the vintage size, so I feel like if you are thinking about getting two, maybe for the sweet Alhambra you can go for like a color that you like, and if you want something more special, then I would say that for the vintage Alhambra you can wait for a holiday pendant to come, and if it is somewhat to your liking, then you can have something very special as well because it comes with diamonds. Cost per wear wise, it's really great because I really wear this all the time, simply because I'm just a necklace person by nature as well. I like wearing necklaces because I don't really like putting too many things on my wrist. I feel like this is already a staple on my wrist and it's not going to go anywhere. So I have the Cartier Love and as well as the Cartier bracelet, and then on this hand I tend to wear my Cartier watch all the time. So I feel like I tend to not want too many things on my wrist as well, because you kind of like risk it knocking onto each other, and I just really like it simple, plain, classic. So I really like changing up my necklaces and my earrings instead. I haven't really bought any of the Van Cleef earrings, but I feel like I can do another video on that, telling you why I have not caved and bought the earrings. So I guess things that I don't really like about the Van Cleef necklace is that it's, you know, it's still a stone after all, so it's definitely slightly more delicate. You cannot shower with it, or rather I will not personally shower with my necklaces or swim with my necklaces because I just don't really want to risk it like being tarnished or like damaged even further from like the sweat that is already going onto the necklace itself, because I want it to last a really long time. So that's why I just typically don't shower with my necklaces. Honestly, it's not that difficult to just take the necklace on and off, so I do that all the time. Even with my rings that I'm not so bothered about if I wash my hands, but when I shower I still take them out because I just don't really like having things on me when I sleep. Like I just also don't really like wearing necklaces on myself when I sleep because I feel like somehow I'm going to choke on them for some reason. I know it sounds like a bit paranoid-y, but like I feel like this is going to happen somehow. I don't know, I just take everything off when I'm about to sleep, and the only things that I leave on my body are like these two bracelets over here, so everything else like comes off. I don't wear any necklaces at all as well. So yes, I think I'm kind of like used to it, but it's definitely a con if you're someone who prefers to leave your jewelry on yourself 24/7. Then I would say that this is not probably the ones that you want to go for. You may want to go for the ones that are hammered, like fully hammered, or you want to go for the diamond ones because those you can definitely shower without any problem, I would say. I forgot to include that something that I don't do when I'm wearing these necklaces is that when it comes to perfume, I don't really like spray it in front of me because the perfume actually gets onto the necklace stone itself. So I tend to just pat it on my hand and just like rub it in. So that's just something to bear in mind. If you're the kind that just like sprays your perfume all around, I wouldn't suggest that. I would just like pat it in because it's going to definitely affect the stone. So try to keep it away from like water as much as possible, perfume and like anything humid, but sometimes it's not possible to just kind of like avoid that. But I feel like it's just good to try and maintain this as pristine as possible, if you can call it that. But yes, I won't do that if I were you when it comes to perfume. In terms of pricing wise, I just took a look at the website and I don't think that their prices actually increase all that much. It would have been a lot more for the diamond bracelet that I really wanted, simply because the cost of it is really high. So that's why it seemed like the jump is quite high, but actually it's about the same percentage. So I don't know when there will be another VCA price increase. I feel like they typically do price increases somewhere in May or June. So if you're thinking about getting a piece, then I would say try to get it earlier than later, because they all belong under the Richmond group. So if you are eyeing anything from like Cartier or Van Cleef, I would say do it sometime soon rather than later, because I feel like they always tend to do like price increases in the middle of the year. So I've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about the Van Cleef necklaces. And if you're thinking about getting a piece for yourself, then I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you in my next video.